James Hunt, Niki Lauda, Jackie Ickx and Dean Martin were some of the most prolific race drivers of our time. But aside from that, they were all proud Mini owners who loved their Mini Coopers. I'd say that association alone makes it worth wanting one of these three cars. But now a lot has changed. You now don't just buy a Mini, you pick a personality. We've got all three of the newest generation of Mini Coopers with us. And while the boys may have done it wrong, I've picked the car that stays truest to the brand name, the John Cooper work.
JCW was an easy pick for me because it's understated with this all black look and just the right amount of red for everybody else to know that this is a special Mini. And special because this is the fastest, most powerful of the three. 231 bhp, 320 Newton meters of torque, 6.1 seconds for a 0 to 100 kilometers run. And then there is the way the JCW puts all that power down onto the road. It's lively, and that effect is amplified with this electronic steering, which somehow feels like a hydraulic unit. And then there are driving modes, of which Sport is the sportiest of them all. It somehow manages to make this car feel properly like a go-kart. The suspension setup makes this car hug these corners and gives you enough confidence to push and explore the beautiful capabilities of this car's handling. But once these roads finish and you need a little bit of practicality, that's when things start to get a little bit unpleasant. You see, Mini claims that the sport suspension has been tuned and developed at the Nürburgring, which is great to set a fast lap time on a racetrack, but out on public roads, things can get a little bit jarring, at times even borderline uncomfortable. There's also this steering which does seem alive, but if you've driven analog cars long enough, the detached feel of an electronic steering slowly and steadily starts becoming very evident, especially when you move down the driving modes. But look on the brighter side, 45 lakhs is going to get you most things that are optional on the other two cars, and of course there are these JCW bits which are exclusive to this car. For example, these lovely snug sport seats. It is pricey for sure, but it's such a hoot to drive. I am so glad I picked the classy and understated yet fast JCW. I really love this car, but I'm wondering what's up with the other two. I'm guessing Dhruv probably has gone for the 3-door Cooper S, and Dipayan, well, he's got the shoes to match that neon green drop top.
He isn't coming back, is he?
Nope.
Can I have the 3-door?
Nope. So I'm sure by now Uppbeat has thrown some numbers at you to tell you just how good the JCW is. Its acceleration, the power output and all that jazz. But what he probably hasn't told you is that his spine has been taking a beating ever since he's been driving the JCW because it is set up quite stiff. Of course, that is part of the nature of the vehicle. It is meant to be a more performance oriented, a sportier version of the regular Mini. But you know what? Mini as a brand has always been about that no-nonsense approach, fast, fun, practical, and for me, the Cooper S, the standard car, which is also the cheapest one, relatively speaking of course, exemplifies those ethos the best. I mean, the JCW has what, 231 bhp or something? This one has upwards of 190 bhp, and I think for a car this size, that's plenty of power. The JCW does 0 to 100 in 6.1 seconds, this does it in 6.7 seconds, so it's not that slow either. And the suspension is set up on the softer side, so it is way better over her pothole ridden roads, and it's just overall a much nicer car to live with. And aside from all those things, in terms of features, of course a lot of kit you see here is optional, like the HUD, the digital instrument panel, and even the Harman Kardon audio setup, so you have to shell out extra money for that. But standard equipment is plenty as well. You get a touchscreen infotainment unit, you get your reversing camera, you get a 2-zone climate control, the sunroof, and again, like, brings me back to the point that for me the Cooper S, which is the cheapest relatively speaking, is the one that stays true to the ethos of the Mini brand. It's fast, it's fun, it's practical, and that's why it is my pick of the lot.
So let's get on with it then. So if these two hadn't messed around, I'd probably be in the JCW. And that's the Mini I would have chosen on my own. That said, now that I am in the drop top, I can't help but catch some feelings. I love the bright green color. I love the way the car just stands out in a crowd. And most of all, I love these beautiful tweed seats. Everything about the Mini convertible is a celebration of driving, and I think that is what is the most important thing when it comes to the Cooper convertible. Another thing I really like about the Cooper convertible is the roof mechanism itself. It is so smooth and quick. It works even when you're on the go, and it is absolutely seamless. To add to that, there's some really cool safety features as well. These two mounts that you see along the side of the seat are actually rollover protection systems that deploy as soon as the car detects a possible rollover. The deploy times are really fast, and that makes it super safe even when you're driving with the top down. I mean, sure, on paper the Mini convertible is slightly slower than the standard 3-door and a little bit more slower than the JCW. It still gets the same 2-liter twin power turbo motor as the JCW in the 192 bhp state of tune, which is more than enough. The gearbox also is the same as you'd find in the standard 3-door, and again, it is more than enough to ensure that you have a really sporty drive experience even when you're pushing the limits. Sure, it is a few kgs heavier than the standard cars and the JCW. It is also slightly less dynamic around corners, but I don't really think that this is something that is going to be noticeable to you, especially if you're the type of person who loves to be the center of attention and simply loves celebrating life. And I think this is what this Mini Cooper convertible is really all about. Sitting back, enjoying that proverbial wind in your hair while you drive down these beautiful roads, just absorbing everything that is so great about Mini Coopers. And of course, if you have the top down, you also get the best seat in the house to the absolute symphony from this 4-cylinder twin turbo engine that is all about drama. Now, although things didn't go according to my plan, I think these two have had a really good day in the cars that they've picked, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I've really come to like the Mini Cooper S convertible as well. And I think that is what exemplifies these three Minis. Three very contrasting personalities that come together to create what is the soul of a Mini Cooper.